Hello, this is Jenny. Today we're going to be talking about the High Priestess and the Major Arcana and all of the wonderful imagery and symbolism that goes into the card. But before I go into it, you know what I'm going to ask you to do. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. That way you're notified every time I make and give you new content. So, here we go. The High Priestess is the second stop on the Fool's journey, therefore given the number 2 on the card, so its sacred number would also be the number 2. She is depicted between two pillars, which represent the Hermetic principle of polarity and duality. For example, there's always going to be day and night, life and death, light and dark, etc. There's also the crown that she wears above her head. This crown is a symbol of the moon and of the lunar phases. There is the full moon that's right there at the top, and then the two crescents there at the side. Also, there's the crescent moon by her feet. She is wrapped in blue and white cloth, clothing and robes. And just like the moon symbolizes water, the gown, especially when it runs down her leg, looks kind of like a waterfall. And therefore, the element of water and all of that imagery is in here as well. So we've got the sacred symbol of water. Now, as far as the representation of water is concerned, this is not contained water. This is not water with form. This is the primordial waters, the very first waters to ever have come into existence, before form, before fashion, right? Really, this is supposed to be a bridge between the conscious and unconscious mind. Those two dualities. You will see this theme come up throughout the entirety of this video, by the way. She is a representation of intuition and of higher wisdom, but adversely, she is also a card, when it comes up in the reverse, a card that represents secrets, a card that represents egoism, a card that represents the wrong kind of teacher or being given misinformation or even not trusting your inner intuition. In the Kabbalic teachings, the Hebrew letter that usually corresponds with the High Priestess is the Hebrew letter Gimel. This is the letter G, but also the word for camel. And the camel still is, but way back in the day, was the only means to get between one town and another, and in the desert was one of the best means, sometimes better than horses, especially for long distances. So therefore they were considered the bridge between one town to another, and thus the letter is given, the word and the meaning is given to the High Priestess, as she is that bridge between the conscious and unconscious mind. Astrologically, the High Priestess is represented by the moon, which we already have talked about through the imagery on her head, the crescent moon. With the moon as its reigning planet, the moon is also the ruler of the constellation Cancer. Also ruled by the 4th house, which is where astrologers go to look at information that concerns about the mother, your mom, how you're going to be a mom, how you need, maybe what the best plays are for raising children, etc. The moon really symbolizes the depths of one's personality and the emotions. So, for example, if your sun sign is how you see yourself, your moon sign is how you feel, how you express your emotions, not necessarily how you love, but how emotions manifest or how emotions bring out your personality. And just like the moon comes in a ton of different phases, from the new moon to the waxing moon, full moon, waning moon, and dark moon. We've got all of these different phases, and just like we have all of these phases, we have many different goddesses that represent the moon as well. For example, Luna or Selene, or even the more famous Diana, Demeter, Artemis. These are all goddesses that would also correspond with the moon and therefore with the High Priestess. Some other correspondences that we would have for this card would be, like we had mentioned, the number 2, the zodiac sign, Cancer, the element of water. The day of the week would be Monday, as it was once pronounced Moon Day. The rune spelled U-R, the hazel tree and pomegranate, mugwort or moonwort, emerald and moonstones. And this card can also be used in the aid of certain intentions, such as helping with clairvoyance or developing and strengthening that inner intuition, cycles and illumination, wisdom, and sometimes secrets. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you enjoyed all of the symbols that I have discussed today. As I said in my last video, take this time to journal how the High Priestess comes into your day or your week for that matter. If it's not too personal, let me know in the comments. I would love to read them. Thank you very much for hanging out with me today. Namaste. And God bless.